Last week I tried to record, well, a couple areas. I don't exactly remember which ones. The two next ones on the list. And I did something really silly with my microphone settings. And I'd tell you what it was I did, but I don't exactly know. But basically, it was kind of messed up. And so I didn't have anything to release. I didn't want to fix it. I didn't want to re-record it. So I didn't have none of those. But instead of instead of going over those areas, what I actually want to do, I want to talk about lore development. Not like a here's how you should do it, but here's how I ended up doing it just in this specific example. So we have the second action starter set, which I thought was kind of cute name. The original chest in the Act 1 area being the action starter set. And if I'm not lazy, here's a picture of that. And here's this one, and here's them side by side. So I've swapped out a few things. I swapped out the foods. I swapped out the armor. The armor is power 1. Oh, actually power 2. Power level 20%. And then each one of these has a little bit of description about why it's not quite working. The status is glitched out. Just fun with lore. But these are items that I already had created, and I just fixed them. Same with the bow. Same with the practice beam blade. But I've swapped out a few items, and these match the other chest, the compass, except this one now points to the central hub instead of the Mountain of Trials. A spyglass, because what I originally had here was, I believe, a note that would direct people to my website, bRanN's.com, which no longer exists. And a clock, because, oh boy, is a clock funny to have in the nether. Look at how it dances around. The 3 foods are foods that exist in sandstone, but they're also not super good foods, whereas in the action starter set, they're at least semi-decent. And then the steamed mushroom, which is a custom food. So I'm really introducing this food, but also I'm kind of introducing these, I suppose, because maybe you didn't play sandstone. The bottle of enchanting are the same. The hero's lantern is the same, and I think I commented on this on one of my videos, where in the beginning of sandstone, I put a bunch of lanterns just down outside of the rule sign, as if multiple iterations of people have gone through the map and just taken their hero's lantern, set it down, and noped out of there. Am I too old to say noped out of there? I don't know. I needed to replace one of the items with something, so I made the Great Horn. It's not just a horn, it's a great horn. I think I showed this off before. But I've modified this because somewhere else in the map I have a greater horn that has Ponder, Ponder 2, and Ponder 3. Now, of course, this is just Ponder. That's the noise it makes if you've seen the horns. It goes, whatever it does. Doesn't matter. And then I thought it'd be fun to have a snowball. But the idea of having a snowball to me was kind of funny because it's in the nether. It's something you can throw, so it's something you can lose if you're not careful. Fire Aspect 5 is actually pretty good. Granted, you have to wait for the timer to tick. I believe Fire Aspect 5 is 19 damage over 20 seconds. And that's because the first hit doesn't get the fire tick, but you're punching them, so maybe that's enough for 1 heart of damage. I don't exactly know how much a punch does. And then I just added the text of channeling -1. If you're familiar with how the dimensions work in Minecraft, channeling, or excuse me, -1, dimension -1 is the nether, and dimension 1 is the end, and then just dimension is the overworld. I believe that's how it works. For sure the nether is -1. Because it doesn't know how to show that as a Roman numeral, it actually shows the number. And then as a cute little, why does the snowball get to exist? Oh, it's nether warped. It's some kind of technology. It's there's some sort of researcher. I have an item that exists in my next map, which is not updated. Float. And it says something about a dimensional researcher. So I kind of took that idea and I pushed it a little further in my mind. Interesting, the dimensional properties of the nether is preventing the snowball from melting. Researcher. Dim Tech Institute. I was thinking of ITT, and I still don't know what that stands for, but it's a name that I have stuck in my head, not because I went, just they had so many commercials. And so this is a researcher trying to experiment with things. Dim Tech Institute. That's funny to me, of course, because dim could also mean not quite bright. And so I imagine the people that work here aren't the smartest. They're probably making things that aren't that useful. So here's the nether warp snowball. I had redstone lamps here. And the daylight sensor, the intention was, I can flip this to night mode and it will light up. I don't know if it's Java only, or if it's just because in Java I wasn't in the nether, or maybe I was in the nether and I just don't remember it correctly. But whatever reason, this does not work in the nether. Maybe it's Bedrock, maybe it's both versions. It doesn't light up. So this is actually just a custom block that's always lit. I had this block actually from one of my previous maps, I believe Beastmaster, and I called it self-powered lamp. But I thought it'd be interesting. Oh, no, that's nether warped lamp. What if some of these are lit and some of these aren't? Because that's how I have it in my design. Some of them are lit and some of them are not, to kind of make it look like some of them are broken. And so then I thought, well, maybe you can repair these. Can I pull that up? I don't think I can pull up the recipe here. Unless I switch to survival mode. That's kind of stupid. Fine. Lamp. Okay. So if you mix gold and blaze powder, you kind of re-energize the lamp. That's sort of relevant for something we'll look at shortly. Moving on. As I was updating specifically this central hub area, this base of sorts, I came down here, and the way I was giving water to the player is a bunch of cauldrons filled with water, but technically that can run out eventually. And I was also talking to my kid about, oh yeah, you could put as many items in a chest as you want. You can take a chest, you can fill it with whatever you want, you can control middle click, and then you have that item with all the data still attached to it. Then you can put that in a chest, and you can put anything else in that chest that you want. And then you can control middle click that, and you can put that in chest. And you can just do it all the way down. So I thought, Dim Tech water crates. Why not have an ender warped water crate? And here we're doing channel 1 and compact 1. Channeling 1 to show that it's from the ender. Compact 1 just to be cute and clever. Now the only thing I don't like about this, I like that it's green text because that's kind of how I do all my special items. But when you place it, it keeps that green text, and this just burns my eyes. But here you have 9 water bottles of each type. And you have as many of these as you could need. I could stack these, but I think it looks nicer this way. And it just gives you a lot of water bottles. I'm assuming more than you could ever need. And when I playtest, I'll make sure that that's true. The gold chest, I made the gold chest specifically for the Act 1 area, because the area was originally called Golden Chest of Joy, and I thought, wouldn't it be funny if the chests were actually gold? But then I liked the gold chest so much that I made to use it in this area up ahead that we're going to go look at again. And because of the change that I ended up making here, I carried that similar thought to that area. So I suppose I am telling the story a little bit out of order. But there's this dim institute. And they're experimenting with mixing items to the different elemental properties of the different dimensions. So here we are again in our mushroom pit with our soup bowls and our cooking with etho. And we have the dim tech stick crates. So there's multiple levels of very quick iterations that happen with this. First of all, it's an ender warped stick crate, and it has channeling 1 and compact 1. We can place this and look inside, and it has 64 bundles of bundles of sticks. If you take one of these, you get 9 bundles of sticks. If you take one of these, you get a bundle of sticks. And if you take one of these, you get a stick. Now, I think I don't currently have the recipe that I was messing around with where you can take a stick and break it into 2 sticks. I will probably... I'm thinking about putting that back in there. I don't want to say probably because, I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. But... lost my train of thought. But this should be more sticks than you could ever shake a stick at, ever hope to want. And so I was trying to think of how can I give you a near infinite, a practically infinite number of sticks. In the original area, there was a fountain, and I still don't know. I have an idea, actually, now. But before that idea, which I don't even know will work, I can't make items come from a spawner. And I suppose I could do something with command blocks, but I'm not interested in figuring out really complex solutions. So I figured I'd just fill a chest with sticks. I was like, well, that's not enough. Well, maybe bundles of sticks. Okay, that's probably enough. What if you had bundles of sticks? That's funny. What if you had bundles of sticks? That's ridiculous, and I want to do it. It took me a while to get the textures the way I like, especially this one. But I really do like the ridiculousness of how it looks. You can see when you're carrying it. I could make it a block, which I think is what a normal game might do. But I just think there's something so humorous about this. And when I find something that's stupidly humorous, but not distracting, I have to do it. I don't have a choice. I'm remembering that there is one more item I think that I have related to the Dim Institute. There's one other item that you can repair with the gold and the netherrack. Not the netherrack. The gold and the blaze powder. I'm going to rack my brain to find it so I can show you. I want to show you this, but I want to go to the correct place. The Creeper Quarry. So, here's the Creeper Quarry. We've looked at this before. This is a place that uses creepers for mining. And yeah, there's more about that, but that's off topic. But here we are, we're at the workplace of whoever these people are. These, let's look. Creeper Quarry Miner. Gunpowder blacksmith. Yeah, I guess just nothing really deep or fantastical about it. It's where they mine places, but it's a workplace. And so I put, after a lot of how am I going to make this look, a respawn anchor right here. And I've filled them up with glowstone blocks, actually, which I'm going to have to kind of sprinkle in some chests, but make sure it's not in a way where you're just going to use it for free lighting. I just want you to have them just in case you need to recharge some of these, but there's practically one at every area. I'm hoping these get abused for speedrunning and also abused for getting the wool and then getting out. I like the idea of big, long, or elaborate areas that you have to go through, but I don't like making the player have to slowly trek their way back. And so you have the idea of a waystone, or the option of a waystone. This is kind of a waystone. You just have to die to use it. Now, you wouldn't normally do that, but at least on these maps, sandstone in this one, and eventually the third one, you have keep inventory on. So I made the others the way I made them. It doesn't matter, they're not that way anymore. And then I made this one, but I made this one special. And I gave it a name, DimTech EBRS, Emergency Backup Respawn System, which I really liked. So then I went through all the other locations that I just placed these, and I made them look exactly like this. So now the Dim Institute is kind of just slowly getting its hands into every area of the map. I remember now, or rather, I reminded myself. Netherwarp Stew, which needs a netherwarped bowl, which requires a cracked netherwarped bowl, and gold, and blazestone. Blazestone, blaze powder. I forget words all the time. It shouldn't be concerning. Please don't worry about me. So, because you could do the cracked... Because I needed to because I came up with the idea that it would be interesting if you cook the bowl 3 times, then I thought it would also be interesting if then the bowl is cracked. But in this, you accidentally created a netherwarped item. You did what the Dim Institute loves to do all the time, on accident, and you need to repair it. And so I was thinking, well, what would be something interesting to repair? Of course, it'd be interesting to repair it with gold, because then you kind of fill in the cracks with gold, like the whatever art that's called. I'm not going to say the wrong thing and guess it incorrectly. But I felt like it needed more than just gold. The blaze powder kind of is melting the gold, or something to that effect. And then I thought, again, me telling the story out of order, I thought, if you could repair this, then maybe you could take a broken one of these and repair that. There's no reason to want to do that, but you can. So in some places, I think, in fact, in right here, in some places, there's the broken one, and you can take the broken one and repair it. One quick little interesting fact, this texture, not the circle, but all this little extra detail, that's actually from the one of the older graphics of the redstone lamp. And then I made it a circle, and that was for Beastmaster. And then I updated it for this one. I kind of smoothed it out a little. I took some of the graininess out of it, kind of getting a little bit closer to the newer texture in the recent versions of Minecraft. But I left some of that in there, and I think it looks really cool, because like, oh my gosh, it's a circle light. That's cool. You don't get circle lights in Minecraft. The center area is a little boxy. I could maybe lighten up the sides, but I'm not a pixel artist, and I don't care, because it's good enough. And the amount of time I spend on fixing tiny little things is already too much time. I hope to have a couple more topical videos like this. I think they're a little more interesting than just seeing the area comparisons, although the area comparisons is kind of cool, and I hope to get to those too, but there's actually still a lot I'm working on. Oh man, there's so much to do. But until next time, this has been bRan, and I'll see you then.